It's okay. If he leaves, he leaves, brother. It's no point. Like I said, he's too young. He's not ready. Anyway. Yeah, left. That's okay, brother. Hey, man, this is going to be good. It's going to blow up your channel. I promise you.
Let me see. Hold on one second.
Don't be, hey, Marlon, brother, don't be disappointed. This is going to be a blessing to you, man. It's going to blow up your channel. I promise you.
I really wanted the discussion on Sam.
I know, I wanted it too, but you see, he got nervous. Man. He got nervous. He kept going into speeches because he wasn't prepared for the honestly, he wasn't. Sorry, brother. It's okay. Make that convicting to him.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and go to a 60-minute discussion between you two. Once again, I won't be stepping in unless I see ad hominems or red herrings where it's totally venturing off the conversation. Let's stay central on this subject, all right? Other than that, you won't hear my voice. You won't see me until the end of the discussion. And audience, as you are hearing hearing and watching, if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, make sure you get those questions in. I have like 2 questions. I want to get a whole bunch of questions in. You know, I want to drill these 2 guys, man. I want to hit them hard, though. But good stuff. So I'll ask the first question just to get the conversation going. Let me stop my clock real quick.
By the way, Marlon, who's going to be, just curiously, who's going to be asking the first set of questions, me or him? He's going to ask of me or I'm going to ask of him?
I guess Kwaku, you can start, and then we can progress through the discussion as it flows, right? So
it's not 10 minutes. I'm sorry.
No. It's just a discussion, 60-minute conversation between you two. All right. So first question, Kwaku.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go for it, Kwaku.
Before I ask any specific question, I just want to make clear there's a very big generational difference here, right? I'm not saying Sam's old, but and so because of that, I just want to make clear. I don't want this discussion to be using words like cultist or cult or anything like that. It isn't helpful. It brings a spirit of darkness, and this is not going to be like the normal debates you see where it's like yelling back and forth. Oh, you're a cultist, you're wrong, of the devil. It's not helpful, and it kind of veers everything off track. So if those words are used in that sort of thing, I won't be able to do this. So I think we can both make it more professional and friendly that way. So
can I comment on that real quick? No, before you ask a question, you made a statement, let me comment. Because I don't want you to leave the discussion and engage me, out of respect for you, not for Joseph Smith, I'll refrain from the language. But to call someone a cultist or a false prophet, that's thoroughly biblical. So I'm being faithful to the scriptures and how the prophets and the apostles addressed false teachers and those who perverted doctrine. But you just said you won't do this. So not to give you an excuse to leave, I'll refrain from that. But please do not tell me how to address a man who claims to restore a gospel that hasn't been distorted. And that's the discussion. But for the sake that you stay and not leave, I'll refrain because I don't want you to leave. I want you to engage me. So again, go ahead.
Perfect. So my first question is, you talked about the Joseph Smith translation of the Bible. You read a bunch of verses of the Book of Mormon. We can sort of talk about either of them, but I wanted to ask you first, when was the Joseph Smith translation of the Bible completed?
Off the top of my head, I can't tell you, but that's irrelevant.
Well, it actually was never completed. So you were speaking about it as if it was a correction.
Hold on, let me interject there. Whether it's completed or not, the passages I cited, is it from that translation or no?
Well, you're citing them as if it's actually a correction. But the
No,
Joseph
I
Smith
didn't say
translation of the Bible never claimed to be a correction.
No, I didn't say it was. Let me correct you again. You're misrepresenting me, and that's not going to get far in this discussion. Don't misrepresent me. I said what is stated is a distortion of what's found in Luke and Matthew. Luke and Matthew do not read the way the Joseph Smith translation says. So please don't put words in my mouth. I'm going to correct you before you do so. So now answer my question. Did what I quote, hold on. What I quoted, is it in the Joseph Smith translation, yes or no?
Yes, it is. It is in the Joseph Smith translation.
Thank you.
However, the way you were speaking about translation, you were using these words as if the Joseph Smith translation said it was a correction. And in fact, it didn't claim to be. Our church, the Church of Jesus Christ, doesn't actually own
so what is the
rights
Joseph
to the
Smith
JSP
translation?
Bible.
Let's try this again, because you're going on a tangent. Kwaku, be patient. You're going on a tangent. I'm going to correct you along the way. He is quoting Luke and Matthew. When you change what's in Luke and Matthew to have Jesus say something that Matthew do not, let me finish the point.
Kind of Bible, because you're speaking as if it's a correction. However, he doesn't claim it to be. And so you're saying, well, he's changing it. Many scholars actually read the JST and read it as more of Joseph Smith's personal study and understanding of what the Bible's saying. And so for you to hold it up as an authoritative isn't really fair. It isn't representative of what the JST is supposed to be.
Let me go with that. You just confirm my point. If that's simply his interpretation is modalistic. So you're still stuck with the problem. Please don't bring up these tangents and these red herrings. Focus on the issue. Those verses that I quoted, he said, people know the Father is the Son and the Son is the Father. So now you just admit that's his interpretation, understanding. His interpretation is modalistic. So keep to the meat of the matter. Don't get into these.
I wouldn't say admit that, because if you read, you understand the way the JST was completed, you discover that he's writing things and he's actually writing different ideas out. So when you look at the manuscripts of the JST, there's not actually he's changing this to this. It seems more of, I wonder if this could mean this or this or this. And you actually have different copies of it. So you read the JST and you said it was a correction of the Bible, but that's just not accurate. And that's never what he claimed for it to be. And so
Kwaku, can you show me where he said, I wonder if it's this and this? You're now adding to the words of a dead prophet, unless you have the ability to go back in time and know his
studies or the Interpreter Foundation.
Show me where he says that. Show me where he says, I wonder if it means this. Quote your source. Don't give me your opinion, because I said that's what you're going to do.
Asked you, have you ever heard of Maxwell Institute or BYU Studies or
give me the man. Don't give me what later people said to try to get away from the problems he created for your church. See, this is my point.
Those are actually organizations that come out of universities, and what they do is they can provide you with all the manuscripts, and they can actually give you a timeline of when things are written and commentary on them. However, I can't talk about those things before I finish my sentence.
Yes.
Go ahead. Get to the meat of the matter. So, I encourage all people watching this to go to those websites, to look at those things, to find the timeline of the JST, but presenting it as if it's a replacement of the Bible is totally
This is
accurate.
the time to ask questions. Don't pontificate. Get to your questions. Get to your questions. Don't pontificate, because when you do that, you're going into damage control, and it's not going to help you. Get to your questions.
This has to be a positive experience. This can't be.
Go ahead. Get to your questions.
So I'm still going to hold and press you that if there's dialogue isn't respectful, this isn't going to happen. With the Book of Mormon, how many Book of Mormon verses do you believe teach modalism or Trinitarianism?
Irrelevant. I gave you enough to show he taught modalism. So don't ask me irrelevant questions. Deal with the evidence I gave you. In fact, I'm going to return the favor. Quote a verse from the Book of Mormon.
If you don't answer my questions, this isn't going to happen. This needs to be a good debate, and I think you're just sort of bouncing around. So I just ask. You can say I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, guys. All right. So this is what we're going to do, because it appears that the freestyle discussion is not working out. So I'm going to put 10-minute restrictions on it. So what we're going to do, we're probably about 5 minutes in. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead convert this into a 60-minute cross-examination where both parties get 10 minute opportunities to ask questions. Those questions need to be direct. And if they require just a yes or no, let's answer them yes or no. If they require maybe a couple more words of clarification, let's allow it and not cut the person off. Remember, we want this dialogue to be solid, and we want the audience, because it's a huge audience. It's probably my biggest show so far, just to be honest with you. We want both people to be able to. Go ahead.
Brother, can I correct him? Can you have him stop telling me how to answer questions and threaten to leave if I don't answer the way he wants? Because that's rude and that's ad hominem. He doesn't tell the debater how to answer his questions. If he doesn't like my answers, he can refute them, but not keep threatening that he's going to walk away, because that shows cowardice. And I'm trying to give him respect. Don't tell me how to answer your questions. You don't like my answers? Let the people judge whether I answered you correctly or I'm evading your questions. But this is not what you do. You don't dictate to someone the format of how to answer a question.
All right.
Well, I believe in social literacy, and I believe if you don't have that, then nothing gets answered, and then nobody can walk away feeling enlightened or even feeling as if it was
everyone here.
Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's a fair point. If he has a response that you aren't necessarily disagreeing with, Kwaku, go ahead and just challenge him on it. Continue to press him on it, and let the conversation evolve organically out of that. With that said, I'm going to start your time over, Kwaku. So go ahead, and you have 10 minutes to go ahead and cross-examine now, Sam.
So, yeah, my question remains, how many Book of Mormon verses do you believe allude to the Trinity or modalism?
Enough to show that there are passages that talk about God in Trinitarian terms and also God in modalistic terms.
So are you familiar with Latter-day Saint and belief on how Jesus Christ is the Father?
No, I'm interested in Joseph Smith because the proposition of the debate was Joseph Smith. We focused on the person of Joseph Smith and the theological. Let me make my point. The debate is Joseph Smith, his theology, as well as whether his theology comports to the Bible. I'm aware what later so-called prophets and the scholars of Mormonism have said, and I'm also aware of what Joseph Smith has said later on. But the focus was specifically on Joseph Smith. So I gave you the most authoritative source, the Book of Mormon. We can go into other sources, but the fact remains, this is what you have in the Book of Mormon. Now, if you can show a statement where he says that the Father was a man who became God in the Book of Mormon, then bring it out so we can engage it. Bring that statement out for me so I can engage it.
Okay, so I'll ask again, do you know what Joseph Smith taught and what Latter-day Saints currently believe is the doctrine of how Christ is the Father? Christ is the Father of blank. Could you fill in the blank?
Yeah, well, I know that he contradicted himself and that you have statements in the Book of Mormon where he says Jesus prays to the Father, assumption showing that he's not the Father. But then there's statements in the Book of Mormon, Jesus says, I am the Father and the Son. But then later statements, Jesus is not the Father. He is Jehovah, the son of Elohim. And Elohim was a man who was exalted to God's status. But that's the whole point. He contradicts himself, proving he's a false prophet. Now, disprove me.
So I wouldn't say any of those are contradictions if you understand the context and more of what was written.
Okay, give me the context.
Ask, Jesus is the Father of blank, according to Joseph Smith.
Can you show me in any of the statements I cited where he made that qualification?
I'm going to show you a lot of statements. I'm asking you first to see if you've done some of the research to fill in the blank.
Jesus, give me from the Book of Mormon. I'm waiting for you. From the Book of Mormon, show me where he qualified.
I'm questioning you, so I'd like you to answer the question. Jesus is the Father of blank. If you don't know, it's fine to say I don't know. I'm asking you if according to Joseph Smith and Latter-day Saint doctrine, Jesus is the Father of. Please fill the.
No, what I quoted, it says here. Let me show you what he did say. Okay, let me just go back at him. Behold, I am he who was prepared from the foundation of the world to redeem my people. Behold, I am Jesus Christ. I am the Father and the Son. Okay, so now I am the God of Israel and the God of the whole earth. The Father, Son, and Holy Ghost are one. And he doesn't even specify the kind of oneness.
Right, but obviously there are more than one quote about Jesus being the Father. You can rely on one quote. You can look at the plethora. I'm asking the authoritative words of that. Jesus is the Father of blank.
Okay, Kwaku, you're not helping your case.
Let's allow him to respond, Kwaku.
Okay. You're not solving the dilemma for your case because I started my statements by saying Joseph Smith contradicts himself in the Book of Mormon and later statements. So if you want to harmonize them, give me your best so we can see whether your harmonization is a desperate spin or is it faithful to the context. The statements I quoted do not qualify in what sense Jesus is the Father. Now, give me a statement.
Something right now in this round because I'm asking the questions. I'm cross-examining you right now. So again, I'm asking you, we can talk about supposed contradictions and all those things, but the first question I've asked, and I'm repeating it till I get an answer, according to Joseph Smith and Latter-day Saint doctrine, Jesus is the Father of blank. Please fill in the blank.
According to Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon, he doesn't make such qualification. And maybe it's there. Prove me wrong. I'm not a scholar. Go ahead. Show me where he makes that qualification in the Book of Mormon.
I'm asking you, do you not know? It's okay. I would just like a simple answer.
Give me from the book. I've been saying, show me from the Book of Mormon the qualification. Educate me. I'm here
It's
to
great.
learn.
Great. You don't know. According to Latter-day Saint doctrine and Joseph Smith, overwhelmingly, Jesus is the father of our salvation. So he's the father of our salvation. And because of that, I'm continuing to answer. Because of that, it makes all of those verses in context. You can find that all over the Book of Mormon. And actually, let's read some of it. Let's read some of it that talks about this differentiation between the Father and the Son. 3 Nephi 19:23 says, "And now, Father, I pray unto thee for them, and also for all those who shall believe on their words, that they may believe in me, that I may be in them as thou, Father, art in me."
Yeah.
Behold,
I have that in my discussion.
Christ, Nephi, the Son of God. I created the heavens and the earth and all things that in them are. I was with the Father from the beginning. I am in the Father, and the Father in me. These verses give a lot of context on the sort of poetic language of Father, Son, Father, Son. But in great context, you can see more of these things. And that's important to understand if you want to have a discussion on Book of Mormon, divinity, and who controls the heavens.
Arlen, this guy won't let me answer he's giving his statements and preaching again. Can I answer you now? Can I answer you? I actually have that in my paper showing the contradiction in the Book of Mormon, because that's an example of the Trinity in the Book of Mormon. So you're not listening. You think you're listening to my case. You're only confirming my case. Even in what you cited, that's not a qualification, the qualification you made. That's why you keep saying Joseph Smith, Latter-day Saints. What you cited was a Trinitarian passage. It's in my file that I prepared to show that the Book of Mormon contradicts itself, because in one place, Jesus is not the Father. I even said that in my opening speech. Other places, he is the Father. And at best, what you cited, even a modalist would quote that, because that's simply mimicking the high priestly prayer of Jesus.
If you grab random verses, you can always pull them out of context. However, if you read them all in context, so another great. So another one of those verses that you were describing is in 3 Nephi chapter 28. And so it says this: "And for this cause ye shall have a fullness of joy, and ye shall sit down in the kingdom of my Father. Yea, your joy shall be full, even as the Father hath given me fullness of joy. And ye shall be even as I am." And this is the Lord speaking to his disciples. Now, those words, "Ye shall sit down in the kingdom of my Father, yea, your joy shall be full, even as the Father hath given me fullness of joy." These are two very important things to juxtapose, because the fullness of joy and becoming like the Father is the same gift the Son gives to the people.
Let's make sure we're asking questions.
He's going into damage control mode because he knows there's
one more insult till this is over. Sam, one more insult until this is over.
Okay, let's keep it. Let's come on, you guys. You guys, let's chill. I know we antsy to answer the questions or antsy to give a rebuttal, but we have to have a discourse, a conversation, not only for YouTube but also for the audience. The audience is complaining right now that you guys are talking over each other. Okay, you guys. So let's make sure that we don't go on a monologue. Let's make sure that we're dialoguing and we're asking questions. That's important. All right.
Yeah, and Marlon, he hasn't. He's been going into these speeches because he's going to damage control. So let me address him, because I quoted 3 Nephi. Let me now quote Ether and show that he's not solving the tension and the contradiction. He's quoting one verse that smacks of Trinitarianism, but ignoring the other verses that smack of modalism. But in his mind, they're harmonious, and I'm not going to let him assume it's harmonious. He's going to have to prove it, and he hasn't. Now let me read Ether, because I want everyone to hear what he said. Did you guys hear what he said? He's the Father of our salvation. That's not what Ether said. Let me quote Ether chapter 4, verses 7 to 12. "Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the Father of the heavens and of the earth, and all things that are in them are." The Father of the heavens and the earth and all things that are in them are. So yes, you can point to passages that seem to teach Trinitarianism, but you can point to other passages that smack of modalism, hence the contradiction. But then this contradicts later teaching that the Father was a man who became God, slept with one of his spirit wives, and sired Jesus, because the citation gave you from the Book of Mormon,
hey Sam,
God has been God.
Hey Sam, I just think Kwaku, I think he just left. I think he just left.
It's all right. Let him leave, bro. It's okay, brother.
Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like his screen froze up.
It's okay. If he leaves, he leaves, brother. It's fine. Like I said, he's too young. He's not ready. Anyway. Yeah, left. That's okay, brother. Hey, man, this is going to be good. It's going to blow up your channel. I promise you.
Let me see. Hold on one second.
Don't be, hey, Marlon, brother, don't be disappointed. This is going to be a blessing to you, man. It's going to blow up your channel. I promise you.
I really wanted the discussion on Sam.
I know, I wanted it too, but you see, he got nervous. Man. He got nervous. He kept going into speeches because he wasn't prepared for the honestly, he wasn't. Sorry, brother. It's okay. May God convict him to offend.
Oh man, Quake, who did you leave? I'm trying to get back in contact with him to see if I can get him back, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it doesn't devolve into just we talking because it's going to be a waste of time, brother. Sorry. Maybe you can get a bona fide, qualified Mormon scholar, not a young man, because I know he's popular, but he's not qualified. And I'm not saying this to put him down. He's a young man. He's overzealous, and he's not qualified. Maybe if you want to get contact like a bona fide Mormon scholar, I'd love to do this.
Man.
Bro, I promise you it's going to go viral. You don't understand how social media works. Wow, Quaker rant, and you're going to get like 10 million views. It's not, I promise you.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
It's okay, bro. We had a good time.
He dipped. He got out of Dodge. He got out of Dodge big time, man. Oh, man.
Please don't take it down. Please don't take it down. Leave this on.